we have 4 subs. Now, one of you might just ask this question: that is it the same signal that is feeding all the 4 sub? Yes, because the stage is 1. Low end elements are the same. Kick is kick everywhere. Bass guitar is bass guitar everywhere. Talking drum is talking drum everywhere. Fluff drum. For the sound engineer not to be overwhelmed with so much of these sub mixes, now say, okay, do you know what? Let's dedicate another main bus for the subwoofers. And now we use matrix and main 3, feeding main 3 into matrix 3 and matrix 4. So matrix 3 is driving this instrumentalist front field, while matrix 4 is driving the vocals front field. Some of you might ask, why using different matrices? Have you imagined having 2 different versions of side fields? Before we even talk about versions that exist in the side fields, let's even talk about the concept behind side fields. Side fields, according to ID concept, is a version of front house that is folded back to the team on stage performing, so that they can experience the wholeness of sound as it's being mixed together as one. That is why nobody is allowed to be given preference in side fields. Like I said, it's supposed to be a mixed version of front of house, but it's something that will be handled and managed by stage mix engineer. A band comprises of 2 sections. We have the musician that supply every instrumentation, while the BGVs, choir, lead vocal supply all the angelic sound to complement the instrumentations as supplied by the instrumentalists. Instrumentalists are supposed to hear themselves together mixed, more of themselves actually, and less of BVs and their lead vocals. While the vocalists, they are supposed to hear more of their vocal sound and a mixed version element of instrumentation. When you delegate or configure your system to work like that, nobody is going to stress you, right? Demanding for something, and at the same time, you are not overloading the speaker, because each speaker is reproducing an intended program material. We have 2 versions of side field. One addresses singers, while the other one addresses the instrumentalists. There's a tiny line that is drawn between the instrumentalists and then the singers. Now, it has been our principle not to loop speakers together. Like I say, we are in an era of Dolby Atmos, an immersive audio, either expressing itself in stereophonic imaging or other form of dimension that is beyond 3D, right? So we want to recreate that kind of stuff. And as you are also aware, we have tons of effects on board that supply chorus, reverb, delay, echo, that again finds expression more on stereo sound field imaging. Since these are the underlying principles that governs the reproduction of this sound, we deem it fit to have left and right configuration. We already have a system that has dedicated 4 mains. We have, like I say, it has 4 buses dedicated for mains. 1, 2, 3, 4. And each bus is capable of transmitting stereo imaging of the mixed down. That is 1. Then the second part of this is that the bus is also doubling as a post fader bus that you can also push additional levels to it, and they are independent of each other. So knowing all these functionalities and capability that exist in this Behringer wing, we now thought it wise to dedicate M1 for left and right, and then M2 for instrumentalist sci-fi, left and right. We don't really want to also have a post effect of processing in this thing. So everything goes through matrix 1 for side fields, which is fed from M1, and then matrix 2 that is also fed from M2. So additional processor, toning of speaker, alignment, configuration, limiting is done in the matrix, while the mastering of these side fields is carried out on the main mix box itself direct. We have to do this so that in real time we are also soloing what we are sending to these side fields, right? Again, we have 4 subs. Now, one of you might just ask this question: that is it the same signal that is feeding all the 4 subs? Yes, because the stage is 1. Low end elements are the same. Kick is kick everywhere. Bass guitar is bass guitar everywhere. Talking drum is talking drum everywhere. Fluff drum. So for the sound engineer not to be overwhelmed with so much of these sub mixes, we now say, okay, do you know what? Let's dedicate another main bus for the subwoofers. And now we use matrix and main 3, feeding main 3 into matrix 3 and matrix 4. So matrix 3 is driving this instrumentalist front field, while matrix 4 is driving the vocals front field. Some of you might ask, why using different matrices? As you can see from the schematics, the speakers are different. So we have to tune appropriately this sound, or ring out what is really going to trigger feedbacks and all that, because the proxy of these subwoofers elements, they are more closer to the drums and all that. So we had to route these things into different matrices for control, for conditioning, for taming, and for toning of loudspeaker system. If you want to know more, we can have a section with you and then further explain and also transfer this technology. Now, if your church is having this stage that is so large, you can actually deploy this technology so easy. So let me break out some sections again, right? Because it's not just these side fields that we have. When you look closely, we have lead vocal having 2 wedge, and then we have BGVs having 4. Now, for this lead vocal, even though we have just 2 speakers, right? The configuration here again is stereo. The signal here is not looped to this. This is receiving left and this is receiving right. For BVs or BGVs, as it were, these 2 speakers are together as left and then right. So in summary, we are having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buses powering the stage. So these buses is irrespective of the IEM they are using, because every one of them has P16 for their own personal monitoring and control. And when you deploy these things, your band will thank you. Everybody will be happy on stage. This will trigger a lot of excitement, innovation, inspiration, spontaneity, and every other thing that the Holy Spirit will drop to them. Why? Because sound enables a lot of good sound, actually enables a lot of things that is beyond our imagination. God bless you.